Hey YouTube, this is Turf Tech or Ironhide. Just wanted to give you a quick review of the Eastwood MIG 175. About 3-4 months ago I wanted to step up my metal work. I'd been using this little Lincoln Weld Pack 100. Don't laugh, that is actually has been a pretty good machine for me. It's good for small hobby welding. It's rated up to 1/4 inch. Honestly, I wouldn't use it on. I wouldn't feel too comfortable using it on anything over 1/8 of an inch or 3/16 at the most. I have welded 1/4 inch, but you just don't get really good penetration, and the welds aren't pretty. It's just a flux core. It doesn't have MIG capabilities. So I wanted to get a MIG welder. So I started looking all over. I looked at Hobart, I looked at Miller, and I looked at Lincoln, and looked at some of the off brands. And I kept coming back to Eastwood. I'll tell you why. 3 reasons why I kept coming back to Eastwood. One was the price. This MIG 175 with the regulator, hoses, Tweako, gun, good. You can see the quality, the clamp on there. It's a nice clamp. Also came with a spool gun. Totally ready to weld, steel or aluminum. All you need is gas and a plug, and you're all set. When I say plug, I mean a receptacle. I mean it has a plug on it. And it was $4.99 with shipping to my door. So I thought, well, that's a great price. Second reason was the warranty. The warranty is 3 years on everything but consumables. And the third thing that kept bringing me back to it was that they have a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you don't like it and you have it for less than 30 days, you can return it. So I decided to finally pull the trigger. One other thing, there's actually a fourth reason, and that was the infinitely variable power. My little Lincoln, like I said, it's been an okay welder, but it had 4 taps, 4 preset power levels, and I knew that there had been many times when I kind of just needed something right in between those. So I didn't want a machine with taps. I wanted to be able to have that infinitely variable power setting. So I went ahead, pulled the trigger. I actually did it over the phone. I called because I had a few questions to ask them about the roller and some other things, and ordered it, and just did the free shipping. Didn't pay extra. The welder arrived 3 days later, FedEx, to my door. And I was astonished. I was expecting it maybe a week after when it came. In fact, you can see on my wall there, I have a kind of a makeshift power box that I set up. I hadn't even wired my garage when it came. I had to wait. It was right before Thanksgiving. I had to wait until after Thanksgiving and go get the hardware I needed. So I went ahead, set up the machine. I got a bottle. I went and actually bought a used 200 CFU bottle, and first weld out of the box was actually this inside right here. I just pulled it out, and okay, this is 1/8 inch. Looked at the thing, okay, E, and then wire feed speed, and tried it out, and then just started playing around with it. And within 5-10 minutes, I felt comfortable to go ahead and build this cart. This is the first thing I built. Was this cart, which so far I just love. It's got room for clamps and everything. It's got room for 2 welders, or someday I'd like to actually put a plasma cutter right there on that middle shelf and do something else with the Lincoln, maybe sell it or give it to my son. But then once I finished the cart here, I just wanted to keep going. It was so much fun to use. So I built a bike rack for a neighbor, an 8-foot bike rack, had a 1/2 inch round bar, and then I started building this arbor. Excuse me, these aren't part of the arbor. Those are all just hanging there, just some scrolls that I've been bending and working on. Built these gates, and have just been welding like crazy. My son, he welds a little bit, and he's made a sled with it. All in all, we've burnt through about 13 pounds of wire already, and have not had. We have had one small issue, and I wanted to tell you about that because that's important. The regulator we got, the dial that indicates your flow rate, it would stick a little bit. So I thought, I better, I'm going to ask them about that. So Sunday night, I better do that before I go to bed. I wrote an email just to their customer service, said, hey, I just bought, this is my name. I bought one of your welders, the regulator sticks, the flow. Is there anything you could do about that? Wake up Monday morning, 8 a.m. Open up my laptop, and I've got an email from Eastwood apologizing for any inconvenience and telling me that a new regulator is on the way. It arrived 3 days later. FedEx. That's the kind of company I want to do business with. So, have really enjoyed it. Let me show you some of the features that it has. I already pointed out the infinitely variable power. And this front piece, it is plastic. This is not a Miller 211, and it certainly isn't like a 252 or 251 or something. This is designed to be a good, powerful hobby welder, not a production welder. I believe the duty cycle is something like 35% or something at 130, 135 amps. I don't know. I read that a long time ago when I first bought it. So other features that it has this chart, just like a nice high-end welder would. You plug in what gas you're using, what wire you're using, the material, and it gives you a starting point for where to set the welder. I've tweaked with those a little bit, and that's where the infinitely variable power really shines. If you're welding vertically or something, you can change. If you're filling a really big gap, you can crank your wire speed up a little bit, even turn a little bit more power into it, and you'll have great welds. One thing I did when I was first starting out, it really helped me a lot. I went through and I set the wire speed at 1, and then I held the trigger down for 12 seconds, measured how much wire came out, times it by 5. I got 30 inches there, and then I just did that for each wire speed setting. So I knew exactly how much wire was coming out at different speeds, because a lot of materials or whatever, they'll give you a reference for ideal wire speeds depending on your wire width. And it's good to know that. And it's interesting too. My welder actually exceeded the manufacturer's their stated capabilities. It actually the lowest speed was lower than what they said it was, and the highest speed was higher. So I was really pleased with that. You can see the welder readily accepts an 11-pound spool. It's easy to change over your polarity. You've just got these finger knobs right here, and you would just loosen those and switch over. If you were using the spool gun, which it came with a free spool gun for welding aluminum, it's as easy as switching those and popping that. I mean, it really is that easy. The gun that it came with, all the components are Tweco standards. So if you didn't like it, which I like it just fine, I think it works great. It's got this nice hook on the back right here, which I use all the time. I just hang it on things as I'm welding in between. Good trigger fill, nozzle, everything works good. Came with a good ground clamp. You can see the ground clamp it came with. It's the exact same one that my Lincoln came with. In fact, just one thing, a note, the contact tips that it came with, I actually like those better. I went to Home Depot or my welding shop, I don't remember, and I bought some name brand. They were either Lincoln or Miller contact tips. I like the Eastwood ones better. They've got a squared off tip, they've got a little tool, they're super easy to take off and put on and switch out, and I get better life out of them. So go figure. Pam, the Garage Mechanics anti-spatter spray there, it works about as well as any anti-spatter I've used. So that's my Eastwood. I love it. I'm going to have my son weld up some welds for it, and then he had the idea of comparing welds from the Eastwood and with the Lincoln. I realized that's not apples to apples. That one is a MIG and more powerful, but still it was very interesting to see what it could do. It's a great machine. I tell you where it shines. Just like all MIGs, filling gaps, production. I was welding some 1/4-inch plate. I cut it by hand. Ended up having some horrible gaps, 1/2-inch gaps in these corners, and this thing just filled them right up. I'm running 030, so normally you would go to J and 8 if you were welding 1/4-inch. I just tweaked my power barely up, and then I took my wire speed all the way up to 9, and I just got at the top of that corner joint and just rode the front of the puddle back and forth, and it filled it right up. I was amazed. There's no way my little flux core Weld Pack 100 could have done that. Just no way, and it did it very quickly and easily. Have really enjoyed this machine. Hopefully, I am looking forward to doing business with Eastwood again. I would actually like to get their plasma cutter. You can see some of the work that I do here. I like to work with sheet metal. These are some frogs I cut out of 18 gauge sheet metal and some moons that are going to go on an arbor project I'm doing for someone. You know, these are hard to cut with an angle grinder, and I would love to get their plasma cutter. And if I do get that, I'll give you a review on that. And I am going to do a follow-up review on this in about a year or so to let you know how it's held up, if I've had any issues with the welder or with Eastwood. But so far, nothing but praise for this welder for what I paid for it. It is just really a phenomenal machine. The wire feed is smooth, it's easy, everything basically works exactly like it's supposed to work on this machine. And so if you're looking at one, I would probably pull the trigger. Thanks for watching.